we have a set of data. Let's find the find number summary first, and then we create a modified box plot. So there are 17 numbers in here. So n is equals to 17. Where is the median? The median is the ninth entry, right? So the ninth entry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the median is 28. So this is my Q2. So Q2 is median, and then the minimum is negative 42. The maximum is equals to 130. And then on the first half of the data, where is Q1? Q1 is the between the fourth and the fifth value, right? So that will be 5 plus 9 divided by 2, which is 17. 14 divided by 2 equals to 7. So that is a 7. And then a Q3 is right here. So that will be 37 plus 40 divided by 2. That is equals to 38.5. All right, so this will be a 38.5. So that is your find number summary. And then we find the lower cutoff and upper cutoff. So the lower cutoff is the lower cutoff. So we use, first we find IQR, middle 50% of the data. So that is 38.5. 38.5 minus 7. So that will be my interquartile. So we take 38.5 minus 7, that is equals to 31.5, and then the lower cutoff is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, which is equals to 7 minus 1.5 times 31.5, 7 minus 1.5 times 31.5, that is equals to negative 40.5. 40.5, and then the upper cutoff is equals to Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. So that is 38.5 plus 1.5 times 31.5. You do the multiplication first, right? Because multiplication has a higher priority. Plus 1.5 times 31.5, that is equals to 85.75. Do we have any outliers? Now answer this question. Do we have any data less than negative 40? Yes, we do. We have a negative 42 less than negative 40.5. So negative 42 is an outlier. In the meantime, for the 85, we have a 90 and the 103, they are, 130, not 103, 130, they are greater than 85.75. So that means these two numbers are outliers. So since the negative 42 was a minimum, so now they are serving as an outlier, then negative 3 is my minimum. And then 130 was the maximum. And then now 130, both 130 and 90, they are outliers. So my 46 is now my maximum. So 46 is now my maximum. We don't go back to change anything in the previous table. Let's fill out the blanks. The lower cutoff, that is a negative 40.5. The upper cutoff is 85.75. And then the outliers, we have negative 42 and a 90 and a 130. Right, let's construct the modified box plot. So first we do the minimum, right? So the minimum is negative 42. So we have not minimum, outlier, negative 42, and then negative 3 is my minimum, and then my Q1 is 7, and then my Q2 is 28, and then Q3 is 38.5, and then my maximum is 46. So we have our middle 50%. This is our interquartile range, and then we have two maximums on the right hand side. One is 90, one is 130. My paper is not long enough, so I have to squeeze them right next to each other. One mistake that people make all the time is they include these two numbers, the lower cutoff and the upper cutoff, into the box plot. That is completely wrong. The lower cutoff and the upper cutoff, pay attention to me right now. The lower cutoff and the upper cutoff, they are for detecting outliers. They are not part of the modified box plot. After you use them to find outliers, that's it. You don't need them anymore. They don't go to the box plot. The maximum and minimum, you have to look at data. So if let's say -2 was an outlier, -2 was a minimum, right? So since now it's an outlier, so -42 is right there. You have to find the second smallest entry. So that will be served as a minimum. Same thing for the maximum, right? So that is how you do everything by hand. How do you do this using a calculator? So do this using a calculator. First, you have to enter the data. You go to Stat and then you go to Edit. You enter the data, right? So I believe that I already input the data in L2, right? 0, 5. Yep, I already input the data in L2. So if you haven't input your data in L2, take a minute, do that right now. You can pause the video, do the work, and then resume to the video. So after the data is inputted to the list, where the place that you will have to go is you go to second mode to quick, and then you go to stat, and then you go to count. You do one variable stats. One variable stats. I put my data in L2, so I'm going to clear that and click second to L2. If you have the one variable stats on the home screen, just input L2 and then click enter. So mine, I can calculate. So press the down arrow, you will see the 5-number summary. And then the lower cutoff, the upper cutoff, the outlier, you have to do this part all by yourself. The yellow writing, IQR, lower cutoff, upper cutoff, the outlier, updating the minimum, the maximum, you have to do all this all by yourself. The calculator won't do it for you. So for the picture, this is where you have to go. You have to go to second, and then you go to y equal. But in mine, you are going to see a different screen because my calculator is not a TI graphing calculator. So you will see plot 1, plot 2, and plot 3, right? So only plot 1 is off. Sorry, no, only plot 1 is on. Plot 2 and 3, they must be off. If you want to turn them all off, just simply choose the plot off. There is such option. Choose plot off, click enter. So it will just turn all the plots off. And then go back to second y equal, and then the plot 1 off, just go in there, and then you choose the on. Just choose the on and then click enter. Which type should you choose? You see 6 little pictures, right? You have to choose a modified box plot with 2 dots on the right. Those 2 dots stands for outliers. Box plot with 2 dots on the right, they stands for outlier. That is the correct type to choose. And then where did you put your data? I put my data in L2, so if you put your data in L2, the X list, you should choose L2. The frequency, FREQ, keep that in 1. The mark, which mark do you want to use for the outlier? Choose the one you like. I usually choose a box. And then the color is for TI84 CE or C only. If you have an older calculator, you cannot select color. Alright, so after everything is finished, you hit the zoom key. There is a zoom, Z-O-O-M, zoom, right above the DEL, the delete. And then you hit 9. So zoom 9, you will see the the modified box plot. So in mine, I will hit graph, and then I will see my box plot over here. So this one, you see there is 1 dot on the left, there is 1 dot on the right, because you have to go right a little bit more to see that 90 and the 130. So 1 dot on the left, that is -42, and then you have 90 and 130. Alright, so that is the end of this video. I hope my instruction is helpful. If you think that it should, subscribe, like, share this video out for me. I appreciate your help really, really much. I see you all in the next one.